Hello guys, welcome to the first episode of Dolphins Daily, the Madden 19 franchise with the Dolphins. And to begin the season, Stephen Ross, in an unexpected move, has fired coach Adam Gase and has decided to sign Darius Newman to a 3-year, $52 million contract. Stephen Ross has a lot of money in his pockets now, and this is a bold move by Stephen Ross here, firing Adam Gase after a very poor 6-10 season from the Miami Dolphins, and he is looking to head into a new direction. Now, to get some information or background information on Darius Newman, Newman was born in Florida, played college ball at South Carolina State, and has been a head coach for 10 years at Mid-Tennessee State. In a statement from Newman on why he decided to take the job, he blatantly said that Miami is a great place to live and he would never pass up the opportunity. Darius Newman's expectations for the team are not quite too low, but not quite too high. His big expectation is to make the playoffs and eventually reach the Super Bowl. He knows what the Dolphins have been through in the past with Ryan Tannehill going down and the signing of Jay Cutler, and that season not working out too good. But Newman looks to take the reign of a new team and take them back to the playoffs. Able to gain some information, Stephen Ross fired coach Adam Gase and decided to sign Darius Newman. In a statement, he basically said this, that he wanted to gain control of his team back after a disappointing 6-10 season with Jay Cutler at the helm and Adam Gase not producing. He decided to fire Adam Gase. Although him and Adam Gase are still longtime friends, they decided that this would be a perfect business move for both of them. The signing of Darius Newman gives the Dolphins a fresh new life at things and a fresh new perspective on where they could head possibly down the season and long term. As we mentioned before, Darius Newman expectations for are not too high but not too low. Stephen Ross understands that this is his first year with the Miami Dolphins, and Darius Newman expectations are to at least shoot for 8 wins. An 8-8 season would be perfect for Newman, and it would lead to improvement into the second season. Newman type of offense he likes to run is a multiple zone run, and his defensive scheme is a base 4-3, which fits the Dolphins perfectly. Now, while the firing of coach Adam Gase has shocked the NFL world, many are not too surprised from Newman new hiring by Stephen Ross. In a statement from an anonymous NFL owner, when he met with Stephen Ross, Ross was unpleased with the 6-10 season the Dolphins had produced and the signing of Jay Cutler mainly. Ross showed his frustration when talking to the NFL owner, and the NFL owner could clearly see that this was Gase's last season as the NFL coach for the Miami Dolphins. As a new NFL head coach, Ross wanted a guy who could take the Dolphins to the next level every year, eventually reaching the Super Bowl. He also wanted a guy who was strictly about business and getting the team back to where they belong. With the mediocre offseason the Dolphins had, with the subtraction of Jarvis and Ndamukong Suh, Ross looks to rebuild the team with Newman and get them back to the playoffs. But the first issue here is the contracts and the contract situation. As many players have expiring contracts, Newman and Ross will try to work out a deal with players to have them re-sign and come back based on their performance. Newman said in a statement when asked about the contracts issues with the team, and he basically said this: he is not ready to discuss contracts yet. It is way too early into the season, and the preseason hasn't even started yet. Newman was also asked about veteran running back Frank Gore and the role he has had with the team or potentially will have with the team. Newman basically said it like this: Frank Gore will be a great mentor to Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage at the running back position. He does not really intend to use Frank Gore on a third down set, but more as a fullback to gain those extra yards. Frank Gore, of course, will get carries at the running back position, but will be mainly more of a mentor to these young running backs. With the addition of Danny Amendola and young receiver Albert Wilson, the Dolphins look to make this their highest scoring season ever. With the subtraction of Jarvis Landry, the Dolphins are still confident that they could put points up on the board. Although with Ryan Tannehill back in 2016, they did not score efficiently enough, the team is still pretty confident under Darius Newman. They have seen what he could do and believe in his talent. On the defensive side, key players like Minkah Fitzpatrick, Rashad Jones, Cameron Wake, and Kiko Alonso also look to have a good season this year. Dolphins last year defensively weren't as good, and there have been better seasons before that. The team looks to hold teams under 21 points per game, as this may be one of the best defenses in Dolphins history we have ever seen. The Dolphins are still trying to figure out their kicking spot with Jason Sanders at the kicker position, but will most likely make a new move. Here, in a couple moments, we will head down to the field to gain some insight from the players on how training camp has been for them so far.
It was huge. I think probably more appreciation than I normally have for preseason one game. Just didn't make it to this point last year. Then, of course, the long rehab process and everything it took to get back to this point. So I think more appreciation for just every second that I was out there and just enjoyed it a little bit more.
Job of, getting guys lined up everywhere. So he's a great guy. I fully trust him and have faith in him. So I just pretty much just listening and just getting lined up where he need me to be.
I think the key is to go out there every day and give it everything you got, and just keep working together and playing hard and going out there on the attack.
In training camp, Darius Newman have been preparing these guys as if they're going to play in the Super Bowl, and most of them believe it and have faith that they will eventually reach the Super Bowl. The team has a great offense and a great defense as well, but may still be missing one or two more pieces on both sides of the football. Newman is not going to hold Tannehill back and is already implementing hundreds of plays for Tannehill to open up the playbook so the Dolphins can be more efficient in scoring. Newman believes that this season will fall heavily on the shoulders of quarterback Ryan Tannehill. After being out last season and making the playoffs the season before that, Newman believes that Tannehill could take the team back to the playoffs again and eventually make the Super Bowl, which is the main goal for them. Newman, around other players, also have high faith in them, like Raekwon Millen, who was also out for last year in the majority part of the season. Raekwon Millen looks to have an impressive season this year. Although Newman hasn't been with the team, he has already made impactful changes. For example, setting Rashard Jones as a captain and also quarterback Ryan Tannehill. These two guys, they have shown their strengths in the training camp and look to have a great preseason as well. Tannehill is the main focal for Newman, and he wants him to become an elite tier quarterback. Newman also signed kicker Patrick Murray out of Fordham. Patrick Murray has been in the league for quite some time, 5 years exactly, and he hopes to make the Dolphins roster. And this will conclude the first episode of Dolphins Daily. Join us next time as we will go over the preseason stats, performances, and finally look at the depth chart for the first week of opening season.